In this video, we'll show you how to build a powerful AI agent with long-term memory using DeepSeek R1, n8n, and Airtable. This AI agent can learn from its interactions and improve over time, making it incredibly versatile. Plus, we'll even show you how to connect it to a Voiceflow chatbot for a truly interactive experience. Now let us go to the n8n overview. We are going to create a new workflow. Let us change the name of the workflow to DeepSeek Tool Calling Demo. We will add an AI agent to the first step. If you do not see it in the list, we can search AI agent. By default, we have the Tools agent selected. It will be connected to a chat trigger. The chat input will be passed to the agent. On the canvas, we see the AI agent with the chat trigger. We see the warning sign, which reminds us to add an AI model. Let us click the chat model to add one. I have already installed DeepSeek R1 from Alma. If interested, you may watch our previous video. In the search, we enter Alma. We see the Alma chat model. We can click on it. We select an Alma account. The model is DeepSeek R1 model. Back on the canvas, we see the warning sign disappeared. Let us run a test. We can start a chat. In the chat window, let us enter a question: what is 2 plus 2? The workflow is running. When it finishes, we have the answer shown in the chat window. Because it is a reasoning model, it shows the thinking process. After reasoning, it shows the correct answer at the end: 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. On the right, we can see the logs. The workflow works as expected. Next, we will add a tool to test if DeepSeek R1 can use the tool. We click the plus sign. On the list, we select Calculator. This is the simplest tool. There is no need of parameters. After the Calculator tool has been added, let us enter a question in the chat. We ask the same question: what is 2 plus 2? But, we got an error showing that DeepSeek R1 model does not support tools. In order to solve this issue, we can go to Alma website. Here we have the LWK R1 model. You can search it. This is a DeepSeek R1 model with the tools capability. In the drop-down, we select the latest. We click the icon to make a copy of the command. In the terminal, we can paste the command. It will install the model. When it finishes, we enter hello. We can see its reply. This works great. In another test, we ask, what is the largest continent? It says, the largest continent is Asia. This is good. As we have installed the model and successfully tested it, we are going to use it in our agent. We double-click on the chat model icon. In the parameters, we only need to change the model to LWK R1 latest. On the canvas, we will test the workflow. In the chat window, we repost the question, ask the same question again. When it finishes, we see the calculator node is green marked. This means the DeepSeek R1 model has used the calculator tool in the agent. We see the answer 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. On the right, we can check the log. Specifically, we see the calculator with the query input, and the response as well. The chat model has the output with the correct answer. Next, we will connect to an Airtable and save memory to it. Let us add a new table. We change its name to Memory Demo. On the first column, we change the name to Memory. As we do not need other columns, let us delete all of them. In the first record, let us add a memory. Username is Andrew. This memory will save the basic information of the user. We delete all other empty records, and will let DeepSeek add new records later. Let us go to Builder Hub to create a new personal token. We click the button to create a new token. We give it a name: Memory n8n Demo. We add scopes. We want it to be able to read records, write records. Also, we want it to read and write base schema. In the access, we want it to have the access to all the current and future bases in all current and future workspaces. After this, we click the button to create the token. We then make a copy by clicking the copy icon. Back to the canvas, we will add the Airtable to our workflow. We delete the connection, and click on the plus sign. In the search, we enter Airtable. Click on the Airtable. Because we will load the memory and feed the memory to DeepSeek, we choose the search records. In the credential dropdown, we select Create New Credential. We paste the personal token key here, which we have just created in the Airtable. We click the button to save it. We see the connection tested successfully. This is perfect. We keep the default sources record, and operation as search. For the base, we choose From List. In the dropdown, we select Bot. For the table, we also have From List. In the dropdown, we select Memory Demo Table. For now, we can turn on the Return All, because we do not have many memory records in the table. You can change this according to your needs. You can set a number limit or use a filter to select specific records. Back to the canvas, we have the Airtable node, which can search the memory table and fetch the data. We will use an aggregate node to combine all the records. We click on the plus sign, and then, Data Transformation. We scroll down, and click on the aggregate. We use the default individual fields. In the input field name, we enter memory. On the canvas, we have the Airtable node and the aggregate node, which can get the memory record from the Airtable and combine the record data into a list. Next, we will use a merge node to put the memory data and the chat input together, and feed them to the AI agent. In the search, we enter merge. We see the node icon, and click on it. In the mode, we select combine. In the combine by, we select the all possible combination. In this way, the chat input and the memory data will be combined and fed to the AI agent. Back on the canvas, we connect the chat node with input 1 of the merge node. We also connect the aggregate node with input 2. After that, we connect the merge node with the AI agent. In order to make the chat more efficient, the AI agent itself has a memory port. We click on the plus sign. On the list, we click on the window buffer memory. We can leave everything unchanged. The default values are good. Now, we are going to test the workflow. Let us click the chat button. As we have made a lot of changes, let us reset the session. We will ask the same question, what is 2 plus 2? We can see the Airtable, aggregate, merge and window buffer memory nodes are all green marked. This means all the parameter settings are okay. When it finishes, we see all the nodes are green. This tells us there is no error in this workflow. We also can see the DeepSeek reply, the result is 4. Perfect. Let us check the log on the right. There is input and output data of the window buffer memory node. The chat model log is here. The calculator has the query input and response output. The chat model has the output. Finally, we see the buffer node log. This is very useful for debugging. If there is any error, we can see it here so that we know what step is wrong. Next, we will add an Airtable node to save the user information using the agent's tool port. Let us double-click on the AI agent node. On the left, we can see the chat input from the chat trigger node. The memory from the Airtable, and we have only one record so far. The merge node has combined them into a list. We add the chat input so DeepSeek can receive it. The chat input is shown below. We know we got it right. We will add an option. We select System Message. This will give prompt instruction to DeepSeek. We click on the expression. In this window, we add the prompt here. The first line shows the current date and time. You will add and read memory of the user. You can use the memory tool to add the memory. We ask DeepSeek to use the tool to add memory. Add memory when applicable. Do not add repeated memory. If the information is already included in the memory, we use this expression to extract the memory from the merge node. If you see the information already there, you do not add it. Use the current memory to help you answer the user question. If you do not need to use the tool, directly output the answer. This is just a very simple prompt. You may use your own to fit your needs. Back on the canvas, we delete the calculator node, and will add an Airtable node. We click on the plus sign. On the list, we select the Airtable tool. For the credential, we choose the token account with the token we created previously. We use the set automatically default setting value, and the default record in the resource. In the operation, we select Create because we will let DeepSeek create new record to save memory. For base, we select Bot. For table, we select Memory Demo. We will map each column manually to specify the data to be saved. On the top, we select the From AI method and make a copy. Under Memory, we click the expression and paste it here. We change the name to add_memory. This will use the value from DeepSeek and save it to the Airtable. This is very handy. On the canvas, we have finished the entire workflow, which can fetch the memory from Airtable and feed it together with the user question to the AI agent. DeepSeek will use the tool to save data to the Airtable. Let us test it. In the chat, we enter the user information. Andrew's dog is 2 years old. We can see the status of the workflow. The DeepSeek node is working on the problem. We speed up a little bit. We see Airtable node is working, and bingo! It has turned green. This is very good. After the workflow finishes, all the nodes are green. Perfect. We can see the reply from DeepSeek. Let us check the log. We are particularly interested in the new Airtable tool node. We see the response with the fields of memory. The model has also output. Again, we have the buffer node output. All looks great. The next thing we want to do is check the Airtable to see the newly added record. On the Airtable, we can see there is a new record in the memory table. It has the information of dog age of 2. But the format is not correct. We want to see a natural sentence instead of this JSON format data. Let us go back to the n8n canvas. Let us see if we can do something, for example, improve the prompt in the AI agent. In the prompt, we ask DeepSeek to use the memory tool. Maybe we need to specify the name of the Airtable tool and change its name to memory tool. Let us click on the Airtable tool node. We are going to change the name to memory_tool. After that, on the canvas, we may also change the name of the model node to DeepSeek R1 tool calling. For the memory tool, we will add a description in the From AI method. We added, write a memory in a few sentences about the user for future reference. Let us save the changes and start a test. This time, we enter, Andrew has a cat named Kate. Hopefully, DeepSeek will add it in the memory table. We speed up the process. When the workflow finishes, we can see the reply on the chat window. It says, Andrew's cat is named Kate. There is also available memory in JSON format. On the log, we see the memory tool node has a memory field with a sentence, Andrew has a cat named Kate. Let us go to check the Airtable. We do see a new record with the same sentence. This works. We added a description and now we have the sentence instead of the JSON. Great! Let us delete this record with JSON format. Now, in the memory table, we have 2 records related to the user. Back on the canvas, we want to add another piece of information. In the chat, we enter, Andrew lives in New York. Let us see if it can add the information in the Airtable. Again, let us speed up to save time in the video. When it finishes, we see the response in JSON. Let us go to check the Airtable. Great! We have the newly added record showing that Andrew lives in New York. This works. We go back to the canvas. Let us check the data of the AI agent. In the merge node, we have the chat input. There is also memory information. We see 2 records now. The aggregate node also has the 2 records. Everything looks perfect. If we check the log, we can see the memory tool has the add memory input. In the output, the memory has been sent to the Airtable. We can see the records in the Airtable. Let us test if DeepSeek can extract the information from the Airtable and return it. In the chat, we ask, tell me about Andrew. We expect to receive the basic information of Andrew. When it finishes, we can see the reply, Andrew is a user who lives in New York, has a cat named Kate. This is good. In the following, we will connect the workflow with Voiceflow chatbot. In order to communicate with Voiceflow, we need a webhook node as a trigger to replace the chat node. In the search, we enter webhook. We change the HTTP method to post because the user question will be sent from Voiceflow to n8n. In the respond, we choose using respond to webhook node because we will send DeepSeek answer back to Voiceflow. We add an option and choose field name for binary data. We enter question as the key which has the value of user question that will be passed from Voiceflow. We replace the chat node with the webhook node. Next, we need to change the parameters in the AI agent. As we no longer have the chat trigger node, we choose define below. We click the expression and enter json.body.question. This will pass the user question from the previous node, which is the merge node. At the end of the workflow, we need to add a respond to webhook node. In the search, we enter the name. We click on the icon. For the respond with, we choose JSON, because we will return the DeepSeek answer in JSON format back to Voiceflow. In the expression, we use this code. The answer is the key, and the value is a JSON string extracted from the output of the AI agent. We use JSON stringify method to convert it to JSON string. Without this, it will not work. Pretty much, we are done with the n8n workflow. Let us go to Voiceflow. On the Voiceflow canvas, we have a chatbot, which is same as the one in our previous video. Briefly, the first block is a message block asking the user to enter his question. We then use a capture block to capture the entire user reply and save it to the variable question. We use a custom action block to implement an extension. The type name is ext_n8n. In the body, we select the JSON. In the data, we have the question as the key and the value is passed with the question variable. In the path, we enter complete. We turn on this stop on action, so the chatbot will wait until DeepSeek finishes and returns its answer. We then use a set block to set the variable. We save the DeepSeek reply to the answer variable. In the expression, we use the last event payload to extract the answer from DeepSeek. At the end, we use a message block to display the answer to the user. The message block connects to the capture block to form a loop, so that the user can enter his next question. In the extension code, we need to add the webhook URL. On the n8n workflow, we double-click on the webhook node, and we choose the production URL. Click the URL to make a copy. We paste the URL. For the extension code details, please watch our previous video. In the terminal, we enter the command HTTP server to start the server. We can copy the localhost URL. Before we test it on the browser, we need to clean up another thing. On the workflow, we click on the window buffer memory node. In the session ID, we choose define below, as we do not have chat trigger node anymore. In the expression, we enter this code to retrieve the user ID from the webhook node. We can pass the user ID in the body from Voiceflow. Let us save the changes. If we go to the extension, we can see that the user ID is Andrew. This is in the body passed to n8n together with the user question. The user ID can be defined with a long string or whatever you choose. Now, everything looks good. Let us test the whole process. On the browser, we open the chatbot. You can use the voice input. We enter, tell me about Andrew. Let's see if DeepSeek can give the correct answer. It should be able to fetch the memory data from Airtable, analyze the data, and return the result to Voiceflow. Here we go. The chatbot replies, Andrew is a resident of New York and owns a cat named Kate. This is perfect. We have demonstrated the Voiceflow chatbot works together with n8n and Airtable to retain long-term memory.